PQMD's Global Health and Development Essentials course is a roundup of the most fundamental content from a master's degree curriculum in global public health. It's equally useful as a primer for professionals new to the space and as a refresher for those of us who've been working in global health for decades. In 15 hours of lecture and discussion, we hear from subject matter experts and renowned educators and discuss among ourselves topics of interest and relevance to our work. PQMD can also offer a course tailor-made for your organization, where content and discussion can address direct implications of the global health ecosystem on your own products and programs. Take a 5-minute look at what Global Health and Development Essentials has to offer and learn more about the course and its next offering on PQMD's website. So life expectancy at birth, less years lived in disability equals the healthy life expectancy, or HALE.
So the influence of countries in the World Bank is dependent on how much in the way of resources they put in. So it's quite different from the UN. That has important consequences in the way in which decisions are made.
It's really quite an interesting concept. And I think this is probably the future of global health, as we switch from sort of from aid to trade, or switch from what might be seen as an unsustainable donor-dependent model to a sustainable market model. And so
to information systems. So this is an area where the future beckons. I mean, it's exciting now, and into the future. The
if you look here, you can see the case curves that epidemiologists use in early stages of epidemics and outbreaks to identify or confirm a source and to measure other things. For example, the incubation period of
measles. We don't think much about measles in the West. It has been a long time since it has been an epidemic in the United States. However, it is epidemic still all over the world, and it kills up to 30%.
So as a result of, again, of those missteps, of the complexity of the ecosystem, of the criticism, which, overblown or not, was pretty vocal in the global health, among the global health community, you start to see, beginning in the mid-90s, multiple sets of guidelines and standards emerging. So
and this might be an NGO question, but I'm just curious from your perspective, having worked at the World Bank, especially, I think, and as you're looking at this from a higher level academically, what can we be doing, I think, as a private sector in terms of our giving to better inform our giving, especially in light of how things are financed?
I have to agree with that, and I think that as an NGO and one who's been doing this for about 27 years, it really is a responsibility of the NGO also to work with our in-country partners, as well as the governments.
I've experienced, like we all have, just the number of new initiatives for, like, here's another mobile phone app, we want you to do this or that, and they fail. And then all of that effort was for nothing. And I'm a data person, and I think it's so critical that we find some harmonized system.
Exactly.
Will we expect a working group like we have for HIV, like where implementers and donors are coming together with manufacturers, and they use a forecast and we plan together? Is it something the way to go? Is it any organization going that way?
Life is affected. So I'm just wondering if there is a different type of index which gets more at the subtleties of quality of life changes as opposed to mortality.
We spoke on product donations, and it was amazing that not one question was directed to the corporate sector. They didn't want to hear from the corporate side. They didn't want, basically, they just didn't want anything to do with it.
First, it's a great presentation, and I wish we could share neurons. Okay, if that's not going to happen. But I was wondering about digital communication and technology, because I'm sure that when you go to these disaster relief sites, they don't have that sophisticated technology like that we have. And you mentioned it, and I saw in one of the pictures you're showing a mobile phone to a group of kids or whatever, and wondering is that not a roadblocker, and how do you go about getting over that?
Yeah.
What is an adverse event? how to communicate that back to us as a donor so that we can alert manufacturers. That the responsibility goes in our minds far beyond just the donation of product to ensure that supply chain management and safety for patients.
And part of this is more of a question actually for the group, but when you talk about sustainability or sunsetting a product donation, I think for us, we would consider that a conflict, because then aren't we creating a customer? So that's one question.
Fantastic.
And then we've had—
Again, I really enjoyed it, and I hope this isn't the end of our interaction. Thank you to everyone so much.